just spitballing with you or brainstorming too, while you were talking about the aging population. I know LA City here locally has like an ADU accelerator program where they're basically trying to house, the age, anybody 65 and up, I think is a minimum qualification there, right? And they're gonna offset the rental income for a studio, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom to the property owner if they open it up for that program, which I think is great, right? I think it's a first step. But my thought process here, I don't know if you want to kind of come in on this, is so I read a news article. Overall, California has probably generated 13 billion for the homeless crisis, meaning through measures, to tax increases, you name it, right? They generated 13 billion. But the net result of that money is just not even really even tackling the problem, right? So they've done units locally here in LA at 500,000 a door, right? And so I think that's insane, right? They could have brought that cost down so much more by doing this. So what are your thoughts about taking or allocating a lot of those funds that are already there, bonded, right, and access to, and just having the cities offer, hey, we need space units now to homeowners. If you want, we can offset the bill costs of this. The only thing is, we'll, as the government, build and spend our money to build one of these in your backyards with the contract that says, but we need access to the space for our, and again, I get it. Homeless, like, no, I don't want homeless in my back. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's that obviously thing, but however way they could kind of phrase this, right? To say low income, or we're going to offset, or we have some housing, but we're going to have safety measures here. We're not going to just put transient people in your backyards to, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's going to be a process of screening and security, but we do need the units. So can we build some of this, and we'll, need it for X amount of years, and afterwards we'll be out, it transfers to you. If that makes sense.
I think you have to, I'm not very versed in the social community adjusting and social welfare, because unfortunately I've never really studied that. But I can tell you what I know of it is that the key, I was once a millennial. I mean, we all were at 20 at one point. And, I didn't have any capital to buy a house. And it occurred to me many years ago that the real problem is the financing part, because getting the capital. And I think if governments did the right thing, they should set some of that reserve capital they have for public housing, build some communities, and not have them for sale, but I would call them lease to own or rent to own. See, all young people have a problem is, where do I get my base capital?
Yeah.
And so it's very simple. If they created communities of, affordable housing, and because nobody wants to do affordable housing, developers don't like it because they can't make any money, and they have, shareholders and all that. They need to see a return of 30-40% at the end of their year. And if they don't have that, so that they can't do it. Governments can do it, but the cost of return should not be there. In other words, there should be no profit expectation. And if you can do it like a non-profit, then you can do it modular, and then you take the units. But the problem with rental units and low income is that people don't have pride in it because it's just a rental. But if you turn that around, I'm a firm believer that if you own something, you'll take care of it. If you rent a dog, it's not your dog. If you rent your kids, they're not your kids. But your kids, well, not all parents, but you'll take care of your kids because they're your kids, your responsibility. So if you're responsible for your little rental flat, but you know that you're going to own it in 20 years, as your last rental payment is your final payment, then there is a real incentive. And I would say that those kind of programs should be explored more, because then there's a lot of modular builders who can provide the product. They're not long-term capitalists. They're just making a product and they're selling a product. So for them, it doesn't matter.